Alright guys, hello and welcome to another set in the Blue Carbon Cup. I know it's been a long time since I did a Blue Carbon Cup cast. It's because we haven't had any eligible games played. We were waiting on a couple guys to be able to schedule. I guess they had some other big tournaments that they were doing. These guys are really good. They're very busy. They have a lot of opportunity and potential for Age of Empires gameplay. But we finally got them. We got FrekinAndy versus Margougou. This is kind of a little bit of a different way of showing this. Sometimes the tournament host makes these nice images for you, so you don't have to sort of crop together the two different images here. We got FrekinAndy with the green sea turtle and Margougou with the Seychelles sheath-tailed bat. These are their spirit animals. No, today is not Monday, the 23rd of October, 14 GMT. That's just when they played. But it is the winners bracket semifinal best of 5. So for the green sea turtle, let's just describe their spirit animals real quick. This green sea turtle is an endangered species. It lives in tropical and subtropical seas. The adults feed mostly on seagrasses. It migrates long distances between feeding grounds and hatching beaches. I love this. It can become 90 years. It can become 90 years old anytime in its life. It's only hunted by humans and large sharks, and it often dies in fishing nets. Nesting beaches are often destroyed. You guys have seen the attrition rates. Maybe there was a documentary where you see all the turtle like slowly lumber onto shore under the beach and dig a hole and lay the eggs and then cover the eggs, and the eggs incubate in the sun and the warm beach, and then the turtles come out and they make their way toward the shore, and it's like a race against time, and a small fraction of the turtles make it to shore. This is that kind of thing, I believe. Now this bat is also quite interesting though. They are critically endangered. They live only in the Seychelles. Their populations have heavily declined. There are only probably between 50 and 100 of such individuals left. They are extinct on most of the islands. They are a small bat, maybe 10 to 11 grams and 55 to 60 millimeters. So I guess it's really no surprise that they're not doing that well. They're not very big. They get pushed around by the other animals. They are insectivorous, and they mostly feed on swamp-associated midges. They roost in caves and houses. They're very vulnerable to disturbance and require several roost sites within a healthy habitat. They have suffered from habitat deterioration because of coconut plantations and the introduction of the kudzu vine. So here you go. This is a conservation-themed tournament, and these are the two animals that need conserving. Now, this doesn't mean that the winning animal gets all of the tropical islands to themselves and all of the other animals have to be eradicated. It's just kind of for fun. So let's take a look at the players here. FrekinAndy, he's from Austria. 1v1 ranked. He is number 25 in the world. Really good player. He's currently 2.5k. Margougou, number 30 in the world, and he is currently about 2.5k as well. So these players are neck and neck, although FrekinAndy has been a little bit higher in the past. So I would say that FrekinAndy has a slight advantage, not only on account of being number 25 instead of number 30, so there's a 5 difference there, but on account of the fact that he has had a higher elo in the past. Their first game is a Dravidians mirror matchup. This is the point of the tournament where players have kind of figured out the civilizations. The map is called Lagoon. It's inspired by, well, a lagoon. Except I think this is the salt water here. I think the lagoon is surrounding this sort of saltwater hole. So maybe there's like a massive underwater tunnel or something like that that leads to the ocean. Or maybe this is just an inland sea and its equilibrium point is sustained by evaporation, and slowly the fresh water from the lagoon with small concentrations of salt leaches in here, and the water then evaporates and it leaves the salt behind, and that's why this is so much saltier. Who knows? It doesn't really matter too much. So, Dravidians. What in the world is Dravidians all about? Well, To be honest, I don't own any of the Indian civs except for the Hindustanis, which were the Indians. I think they're still a little bit broken and overpowered, and I don't buy DLCs if they release them unbalanced. Okay, so we got Margougou coming over here for a lumber camp. This is a really good lumber camp location. It's not too far away from the town center, but he's got a nice big thicket here that he can build on. Now, you guys will notice on this map that there are all of these mangrove shallows here, and then this is just traditional deep water. Okay, so you actually do have to worry about ships inside and outside. The players might do the whole galley micro thing, and they might fight over water in the middle. But at some point, what we've seen is the players will build docks on the outside ring. And there aren't any fish out here. There aren't any resources out here. So it doesn't make sense to build docks here initially. But you want to... The players have the current meta, I should say, is the players build docks in the middle, maybe 2 or 3, and then they fight over the fish for a while. And then when one side seems to be winning or that gets stale, one of the players will start building docks on these inside beaches, and then they'll go for each other's towns directly. And we've actually seen just like entire stone walls, not entire stone walls actually, partial stone walls over just the mangrove shallow section. They don't want to spend the stone. It's not worth it to keep out the land units, but keeping out the naval units is worth it. So FrekinAndy is here at, I'm going to say 4 o'clock, and he is playing as the orange. And Margougou is at 9 o'clock, and he's playing as blue. So Margougou smartly walling this villager in with the dock. Don't think he has loom yet. Let's click on this villager. No, he does not have loom, but the villager is somehow injured. I'm not really sure how that would happen. Maybe we missed it. Maybe FrekinAndy came over here with his scout and tried to kill this villager, but it seems like if he wanted this villager dead, it would be, considering that he already obviously would have gotten to it. But maybe there's another explanation. Maybe this villager was used to lure in a crocodile. That's right, the crocodiles are the boars on this map. Maybe the villager was used to lure in that crocodile, and then Margougou just forgot that this villager was injured in the crocodile luring process and sent him out here anyway. You generally, the weaker your villagers are, you do not want to send them far away from your town. You want to keep your villagers close to your town. But if you have to send a villager away, then you should pick a full HP villager, because it has the best chance of surviving if it's attacked. So let's see. Both of these players are probably going to do the same thing. Everybody thinks, oh, Dravidian. But I really don't think it's that simple. We've seen other civs on this map. We've seen Koreans. We've seen Vikings. We've seen Italians. But this is just in the phase where the players are like, oh, if I do the same thing as this other guy, but I do it better, I will win. It doesn't matter whether or not Dravidians are the better civ on this map. What matters is that I play them better than my opponent, and I know what my opponent's going to do because I watched his Dravidian strategy in the last match. So therefore, I will just be Dravidians and I'll play them better. Ugh. It's so boring, you guys. It's so boring. But that's alright. There are other components that have redeeming qualities that make it really fun. And that's the part that makes this on a net very entertaining. Okay, so both players are on their way up to the feudal age. They're going to have approximately the same amount of town center idle time, because they're basically up at the same time. Although actually, FrekinAndy with more town center idle time, he's probably got. I say that, but he's got 21 seconds more of town center idle time. He's basically a villager behind. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe there was a lame attempt. Maybe there was some kind of scout fight. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, another dock coming up for FrekinAndy. We can expect the same from Margougou. Yeah, FrekinAndy trying to get in on this villager. This villager is loomed at this point. Scout cannot reach him, but the scout does get a hill advantage versus these palisades, but still not going to get in because Margougou is paying attention. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably FrekinAndy being up first. He probably idled his town center a little bit, just so that he could click up sooner. Okay. So Margougou with a third dock. FrekinAndy is also going third dock. So we're basically just going to see a galley mirror matchup. Let's see. No, fire galleys. Okay. Well, we've seen fire galleys, we've seen galleys. Looks like fire galleys. You know what would make this map a little bit better is if there were rocky outcroppings in this lake here. This I don't want to call it lagoon because I think this is the saltwater section. There were rocky outcroppings, you know, little islands that ships cannot sail through that you could micro galleys around and maybe even build towers on eventually. Now that would be some pretty cool stuff right there. Could you imagine? Maybe have some little rocky outcroppings. Maybe even have a small path of shallows to those rocky outcroppings so that villagers can go out there and build towers. I love that kind of stuff. And here we go. It comes down to who clicks their fire ships better. Okay, Margougou is generally a pretty conservative player. Yeah, look at this. He's stonewalling the section that can be sailed across by ships, and he's got a house here for the land unit section. See, look at this. Stone walls, but he's not going to build any stone walls here. These players are not afraid of land units. Stone walls are kind of a joke against land units. It's unfortunate. You know, they're not worth it anymore. That should really tell you guys everything you need to know about the status that stone walls are in. It's very sad what they've done to stone walls. When players will stonewall out ships but not land units. It's just like their attempt to make stone walls completely worthless. I think they should be stronger. So we got FrekinAndy with a little bit of a numbers advantage. He's going to take a big fight. Yes. Oh no. Margougou was not paying attention. He's got a couple of weak fires. He's going to micro them back. Where's the repair villager? Here she comes. Villager repairing the ship while it's being attacked. Do you guys think that should be a thing? Do you think it should be possible to repair a ship while it's fighting? That seems kind of silly. If a ship is taking damage, it should probably not be repairable. Okay, Margougou going into the demolition rafts. That could be pretty smart. Where's he going, though? He doesn't want to just sacrifice it for one fire ship. We got a demolition raft here from FrekinAndy, too. Are they going to collide? No. Demolition rafts are so chaotic. Margougou coming over here to wall that off. Let's see if anybody is docking the inside. It doesn't look like yet they are. They're just doing the fire galley. From the fire galley dance, Margougou investing in the stone walls. FrekinAndy has not. I think that could be a mistake. Has Margougou built a dock on the inside? No, he has not. So both players are pretty heavily invested into protecting their 4 fishing ships on this lagoon. FrekinAndy with 5, but you get the idea. You guys get the idea. Demolition raft blows up on this fishing ship but does not destroy it. Is Margougou going to repair that fishing ship? That would make a lot of sense. I mean, this lady isn't doing anything besides fishing, so... Maybe the ability to repair ships that are taking damage sort of compensates for the lack of garrison options inside of docks. I really, this is no secret, I've been quite vocal on this in the past, but Age of Empires really fell down on the Navy design aspect. They did a fantastic job for land units, as these fire galleys are forced to scatter. It's a good hit. No, it didn't look it, but it took a lot of health away. But they did not do such a great job for water units. It's pretty much rock, paper, scissors. There's no garrisoning. There's no like sea walls or anything like that. It feels like it was very rushed. And since then, they have expanded the rules. Hey, welcome X Factor. You know, they've added some abilities. They've added some new ships. Gurjaras have the ability to garrison fishing ships in their docks, but you know, it's pay for one civilization that can do it. And, you know, it's similar to the Khmer being able to garrison. Looks like FrekinAndy's going to give up on the water in the middle. It's similar to the Khmer being able to garrison villages in their houses. And you're like, really? There's no other civilization across the world where people knew how to enter their own houses? It's just, you know, it's just silly. I can understand the original decision not to have all of these features because they had to release the game on time, but they've had years to work on this. And and they can't what if they did something like, okay, for this new DLC to show you guys that we're committed to this game and that we want to improve the number of features and everything. We're going to make it so that all villagers can garrison in houses, but or all foot units can garrison in houses. But when the Khmer garrison in houses, their villagers are going to heal. You could do something like that. Or when the Khmer villagers garrison in a house, if you have 5 villagers in the house, it will fire 1 arrow that's really weak or something like that. What about each house? Or yeah, or house capacity or something like that. You could, if you tried, you really could be very creative. But of course, it's a company, they have to make money. The goal is to minimize the risk and creativity, to be as uncreative as possible and still make the most amount of money for your creativity. Because there's a little bit of a risk involved. If you introduce this new game mechanic and it doesn't work and it breaks the game, lots of people will be very angry. As Margougou's got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds to go before upgrading his fires, and now it's a fair fight. Indeed, I am, I suppose. Okay, so Margougou, with those upgrades, is able to fight off FrekinAndy's fire ships. FrekinAndy trying to get up to the Castle Age a little bit sooner, but he didn't really get the damage in. Margougou does have a lot of weak fire ships. He's going to have to bring them back to shore for repairs. Wouldn't that be really cool if you could garrison injured units in your dock and then toggle a button that says repair injured ships or something like that? And it drained your wood and gold, but slowly repaired the ships in dock. Kind of like what docks are for. Like you could bring your ships back to dry dock. That would be freaking awesome. Exactly. They only innovate if they absolutely have to. If there's some other company out there that forces them to innovate. But most companies do not like innovation. It's just risky. It's dangerous. This demolition ship is also dangerous. Thinking about blowing up the village or FrekinAndy pulling her back. Has anybody tried docking the inside yet? No. Oh, wait. They have one. FrekinAndy slowly building a group of fire ships. Margougou has built a dock outside of his walls out here. They haven't really skirmished outside. They're both still fighting over the outside, or rather, I guess, the salt water here. The water at elevation 0. How about we call it that? Fire ship fight here. Ooh, was a good demo shot. And it looks like FrekinAndy's actually going to win this fight here. Margougou coming in with a demolition ship. Oh man, poor Margougou. He manages to not kill anything, but there are 3 very weak fire ships here. And oh no. He does have the supply chain advantage. He's closer to his own docks, so he's able to replenish his numbers more quickly. And that's pretty much the only thing that water has going for it. And it's the same with land. It's the only mechanic that really keeps water from getting totally dominated. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if you could build like a repair yard dock that you could, maybe it's a special dock building that you garrison ships inside of and it repairs them. That would be pretty cool. Fortified dock. Well, the Malay have the harbors. The harbors shoot arrows. So we've seen the pendulum swing to the other side now. And it's looking like it's about to swing back. FrekinAndy just needs to repair this fire ship, and then he's probably going to push back over here and attack Margougou again. He's coming out here looking for Margougou, looking for a way in. Of course, it's going to be all stonewalled up. Both players are booming in the background. Margougou's boom is a little bit better than FrekinAndy's is. He has slightly more villagers. And these ships look injured. It looks like they took a demolition ship hit. That would be my guess. FrekinAndy withdrawing them. And now Margougou is here. He has pushed back FrekinAndy's ships. Is FrekinAndy finally out of fishing ships? I think he is. And at this point, I don't think that these 3 fishing ships from Margougou could, I suppose, build more. But I don't really know if it's worth it to continue to contest the water in the center. That doesn't mean that FrekinAndy will give up so easily. Floating towers and castles. Castles on barges. Well, maybe not castles, but maybe you could build like artificial reefs or artificial islands with enough investment. I don't really know that they did that in the Middle Ages. I know they have done that, though. They just keep pouring concrete into the ocean or in a shallow spot of the ocean, make an artificial island, and then build fortifications and airstrips and naval bases on it. Not in the Middle Ages, but there's opportunities. I think the big thing that Age of Empires suffers from that made water interesting in the Middle Ages was, in Age of Empires, you build ships and they can just sit in water all day and not degrade. But in the Middle Ages, sometimes nature was a bigger enemy than your opponent's navy. Consider the Mongolian attempted invasion of Japan. Japan was saved by the kamikaze, the divine wind. The Mongols, well, they were good at conquering and everything, but unfortunately the Mongols didn't really know much about shipbuilding because they were from the steppes of Mongolia. And there are not a lot of oceans or seas or waterways out there. There might be a few small rivers, who knows. But the Mongols didn't really do the whole ship thing. So they conquered China and they said, this is going great. We're going to take every ship we can find in China and we are going to load it up with a bunch of men and we're going to sail across this narrow sea and we're going to invade Japan and we're going to take Japan as proper Mongols would. And as fate would have it, Japan was horribly outnumbered. There's no way they would have fought that off. They were saved by the divine wind. Look at this. The pendulum is on the other side now. FrekinAndy has taken the center. There's a massive typhoon, or I don't want to call it a typhoon, but a weather system, a storm, a great wind, divine wind, that destroyed the Mongolian fleet. And it saved Japan. Japan was saved by the weather. They were saved by nature. They did not save themselves. But in Age of Empires, there is no nature. There's no wind. The ships can sail in any direction. Doesn't really matter. There's no, there's no you don't need to tack. There's no prevailing wind direction. The ships can just go anywhere. And ships will not take damage if the weather is bad. There's no sea swells. And I thought that would always be really cool to have that. You could have ships, crash or get into accidents. You could have lighthouses. Lighthouses were a big deal in the Middle Ages. There's some pretty old lighthouses that go back to the early Middle Ages that people built. There's really a lot of opportunity, but they don't want to change the game. We don't want to fundamentally change the game. So that opportunity, you know, it's just a pipe dream. It'll never be taken. It's just like another one of my ideas for Age of Empires, right? Where units don't have a line of sight. They don't have a radius that they can see. Well, maybe they have a radius that they can see. But the important thing is, as we're getting guard tower defense from FrekinAndy. I love freaking guard towers. Guard towers are fantastic. They have so much health. It takes forever to push them back. For only 125 stone, too. FrekinAndy wants to finish this guard tower. He's going to buy himself some time. He's getting fast fire ship. It looks like Margougou has made the transition into galleons. So we're going to see fast fire ships versus galleons. FrekinAndy's got a big freaking boom back here. And he's guard towering the sides up. He's playing the long game here. But I'd love to have a detection radius. So a detection radius means that you are invisible to your opponent unless your opponent has a unit that is inside your unit's detection radius. And it would essentially be the inverse of your line of sight. So units that traditionally have large line of sight, like scouts or buildings like outposts, would instead have low detection radius. And that would mean that your scout could slip into the enemy town unspotted because their detection radius of all the buildings and all the villagers and the units and such is larger than the scout's detection radius. So he can see them and avoid them, but they don't see him because he sees them first and avoids them. You know, that's kind of, I think that's a more intelligent way of doing it. And you could have all kinds of different buildings and units have different detection radii, but it would be super cool if that existed in the game. So like you were approaching the enemy town center and then you spotted it when you entered its detection radius. Detection radius is not the same thing as range. And you could even have some, you know, some siege weapons that might have the whole thing about siege weapons is that they might have a larger range than detection radius, so they could shoot at you without you being able to see them. And there's all kinds of really cool implications that follow from that. So we've got FrekinAndy repairing a castle. He's got trebuchets. He needs to keep these bombard cannons off of his trebuchets. He wants to dive in with the fast fire ships, but there's too many galleons there. And the galleons can't get any closer because then the castle and the towers will shoot them. So these guys are just kind of camping here. FrekinAndy is going to need bombard cannons of his own. He is researching chemistry so that he can make them. But it will take time. Margougou has built a castle over here. This is interesting. This castle dropped these towers. So FrekinAndy is going to build a siege workshop here so that he can ram that castle down or use bombard cannons to remove that castle. Castle goes down, and now there's just some towers here. And FrekinAndy does not have a lot behind this. After these three towers, he's got a dock, and then it's basically his innards. His vulnerable, juicy economy here. Margougou looking really strong this game. His trebuchet is going to go down. The good news is FrekinAndy has secured a decent chunk of the map for himself. He's mining stone over there. Is he making a siege weapon? Okay, he is. He is making a bombard cannon over there. And he's getting masonry to make his buildings stronger, to help them hold up a little bit better to the enemy cannon fire. We have a Therisidae here. This is some kind of Dravidian unique unit. I don't really understand what it does. It basically just looks like a really big galley that fires multiple arrows. It's my understanding of it. FrekinAndy making a big investment into shipwright, and Margougou doing the same. Yeah, if you're FrekinAndy, you just like Stonewall here and here. You build fortified walls actually. And you just buy yourself time and you build 1,000,000 docks back here. I don't understand how he thinks he can fight this off with 2 docks. Maybe it's more than 2. Maybe he's got another dock somewhere far away. But he needs like 8 docks. to pump out ships fast enough, and he has the resources for them. So this cannon is working away at the castle. But he doesn't really, he really don't want to give these town centers away. This fire ship is being attacked by these Thericidae. Maybe monks could be a worthwhile investment against Thericidae, because they're a unique unit and monks are good at converting unique units. Interesting. So FrekinAndy getting arrow slits for his towers to improve their attack. I wonder if they get heated shot. I guess we don't really know. Cannon Galleon is subject to repairs. He's going to just fight over here. He's not worried about this right now. He'll garrison his town centers, and he'll build more guard towers to slow this down. Okay, yes they do, because Margougou just got heated shot. That is brutal. Heated shot is extremely powerful. It shreds ships. Look at this. 2, 3 volleys from the castle, and that fire ship is down. We got these big old lumbering Thericidae coming in, and they're just overwhelming FrekinAndy's defenses here. We did see an orange... Oh wait, these are orange Thericidae. I don't know where they're coming from. Okay, he's building more docks out here. He's got more shipyards out here. Heavy demolition ship for FrekinAndy. He's just trying everything. He needs like 6 docks back here to pump out the units. FrekinAndy is in trouble though. His economy is largely idle, being harassed, being killed, or being garrisoned. Margougou is running with reckless abandon through FrekinAndy's town, and that's never a good sign. FrekinAndy's still trying to get this castle going, but just can't get it down and calls the GG. So the first game of this set goes to Margougou. And we will move on to the next game here in just a minute. So what did you think of that game? Let me know. All right. So their next game is on Aguaje Swamp. And people have started to figure out it was okay. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Yeah, me neither. Well, Aguaje Swamp is less of a water map. So we have in the blue, at about 7 o'clock, we have Margougou playing as the Incas. And then at 2 o'clock, we have FrekinAndy playing as the Orange Chinese. So, Mesoamerican civs are very popular on this map. Why? Because if there is a situation in the Dark Age where you can camp your scout somewhere and it would be a huge disadvantage to your opponent, oh boy, here comes Margougou. What is he doing? Just quick walling that villager so that he can save his... so that he can save it? Okay. Oh no, he is coming up and doing this so his opponent cannot wall his dock in entirely. We've seen people wall each other's docks in. And I think that could be fixed. You know, you could change that. Could make it so that isn't possible. And indeed, FrekinAndy is coming forward and trying to wall in his dock. Has he gotten loom? Let's hope he has. Yes, he has. But there are a lot of crocodiles in the center, and the players still try and do it anyway. There's an eagle here. Eagles are stronger than scouts in the Dark Age. So if there is a place where an eagle scout needs to be and your opponent wants their scout to be there as well, and it's just a regular scout, and they fight, the eagle will win all the time, unless it's like this and it's fought some villagers and it has lower health. So FrekinAndy walling in this villager to save her. Oh no, but the wall gets battered down. He sent a few more villagers over here to fight. This crocodile wants in on the action. This lady is going to go down. Margougou is not going to let her get away. FrekinAndy trying to save her. But now Margougou is going to lose his scout, which is a big disadvantage. The scout will follow this scout around, this eagle around, until killing him, and then we'll run away. So overall, I think that was worth it for Margougou to kill an enemy villager like that. But he did lose his scout. And now the enemy scout can come in here and kill his fishing ships, and there's nothing he can do about it in Dark Age. So he'll have to send, Margougou will have to send villagers, or he'll have to give up on fishing. Okay, he's sending villagers. You know, if I'm Margougou, I actually just wall these enemy villagers in. Don't worry about it. Just wall around them. So now he deletes the wall here so that his fishing ships can get into the dock. But this dock situation is a good idea, but it's not in terms of the map script. It's not well executed. But it's sufficient. But there's ways to improve this. Like you could make these trees avoid these docks, and you could also make these docks unwallable in the sense that you couldn't wall them in. So the whole thing about this map is that these docks have 10,000 HP, and you cannot build any new docks. For whatever reason, I lean toward real-world maps, mainly the Western European scene. Interesting. So because you can't build more docks, players are trying to take advantage of getting as much fish as they can in. These fish traps are indestructible, and they contain infinite food. So you can make fishing ships, and it's like extra villagers that slowly provide an additional trickle of food here. So FrekinAndy is sending more villagers. As the Chinese, you do start with additional villagers, so that could be what motivated him to pick this civilization. And now Margougou wants to wall in FrekinAndy's dock. He wants to wall it in, boys. But FrekinAndy is here with the villagers to shank that palisade down. Yeah, we can make it so that you can't wall around the docks. I think that would be an improved version. It's so messy. What happened here? I don't even know. Oh, okay, Margougou walled his own villager in. And now if you're FrekinAndy, you just wall that villager in behind it. I don't even think you have to break in there. Just wall him in so he can't go do anything. Okay, so FrekinAndy breaking that wall down and Margougou building a new one. So this dock is now walled in. Chaotic game. This FrekinAndy, where's FrekinAndy's scout? FrekinAndy, this is your moment. Look at the economy at home. Look at this. This is a mess for a pro player. And what is what the? FrekinAndy has nothing. I guess he's almost feudal age, so he doesn't really care. But could you imagine, like, your opponent is going up to feudal age and he basically has no food under his town center and no villagers collecting food? So FrekinAndy is Chinese. He's in the feudal age. He's going to make a fire galley, probably. Yeah, there it is. And that'll be a huge power spike. Margougou taking this opportunity to get away. He is going to build a barracks. And we have this massive procession of villagers and alligators chasing Margougou's villager here. I'm going to go fight that crocodile. There we go. Got him. FrekinAndy's villager got walled in. But both of these players have had disaster Dark Ages. FrekinAndy with 2 minutes of town center idle time. He's trying to keep that as low as possible. He's taking this turkey that he found. And where is the fire galley? There it is. Alright, so he's gonna, I guess he's just gonna burn this palisade wall to try to free up more fire galleys. And Margougou is in feudal age. He's building a fire galley as well. So it's just a mess, you guys. This game, this whole map. This dock thing is just it's a wild, it's a good idea. It's a fun idea, but it needs a little bit more, I think, to work well, to be technically well executed. But I don't know, you could make the argument that in the condition it's in, with the possibility of walling it in, can lead to some entertaining games as well. Margougou going to go for this fishing ship. Spearmen get bonus damage against ships. I don't know if you guys knew that. Ship is going down. These spearmen are going to get burninated, but the fishing ship was killed. And now Margougou on the defensive. FrekinAndy has an archery range here, but no archers yet. This map is a very wallable map in general. There's large, sort of swampy sections that are inside a complete ring of trees. And this is actually fully walled here, essentially. Margougou doesn't know this, but he could just build a wall out this way and maybe a wall out this way. He could be fully walled. Even if you chop through, you're still fully walled. Because, well, it's got another side. So, I have a question for you, X Factor. If I had to stream on another platform that wasn't Twitch or YouTube, what would it be and why? Which one should I consider? Alright, Margougou repairing this fire galley. He's outnumbered 3-1 in terms of fire galleys. Repair villagers come. Burn the repair villagers. Yes, there we go. Villager goes down. Spearman goes down. And, okay, so he has to pull back. He's towering this dock. That's very annoying. FrekinAndy trying to keep his town center working. The turkey has been all eaten up. He's got 2 on food somewhere. I think they might be fishing ships, but I'm not sure. Yeah, here they are. They are fishing ships. He did open up his dock. Tower goes up. Villager garrisoned inside. Demolition ship. Boom. He manages to save this fire galley on 1 HP. Now the villager is going to repair. It's repairing the wrong one, though. Needs to repair this guy. FrekinAndy with a very powerful attack against Margougou. There's no doubt about it. He's given Margougou a hard time, for sure. The tower over the dock is super annoying. It basically guarantees your opponent isn't going to make fishing. What do we got here? Ooh. So we have Margougou investing into eagles. Apparently, FrekinAndy has tower rushed Margougou slightly. He has an archer here. He could build another tower right here. This would actually be super annoying, especially if it were in range of this other tower and then garrison archers in it. And that would force Margougou off this wood line. So we have eagles coming this way. The eagles, do they have armor? It doesn't look like the eagles have gotten any armor upgrades. There's a lot going on this game, so we can forgive FrekinAndy if he didn't try to save this archer by garrisoning it in the tower. But the big risk with these eagles is that they show up in FrekinAndy's economy. They come over here and they massacre villagers, and then they show up over here and massacre gold miners. FrekinAndy is going to need to be freaking paying attention here. Now, he does have outposts, so he can see. Is he going to get the quick walls up in time? Margougou is surely going to scout this. He hasn't looked over yet because he's been busy microing in here. But he will turn around and he will go after these villagers. Yep, here it is. And FrekinAndy has to pull the villagers off of the stone. He brings them toward the closest garrisonable building. He's got this tower right here. And one of those villagers goes down. Margougou going to try to get another one. I believe that he will succeed. No, FrekinAndy's saving her. Nice. Chimp just loitering next to the stone mine doesn't seem to care what's going on. Furious, the so-called monkey boy. Margougou with a lot more farms, and he is headed up to the Castle Age. FrekinAndy is nowhere close. So my prediction is that FrekinAndy will call GG as soon as Margougou hits the Castle Age. But we'll see. Maybe FrekinAndy has some surprises up his sleeve for us. We simply don't know. I think Margougou is giving up on the dock. I think he's going to lose the dock. Okay, there's another house coming up here. FrekinAndy housed. FrekinAndy can only hope that he has done enough damage to Margougou. He does have the score lead. I think another tower up here would have been a really good idea. But maybe he didn't have the stone. He has enough now, but maybe he doesn't have the stone. What is this? Oh, these are just automated villagers going and looking for fish or what? There is some fish there. But I don't think that's what he wants because I don't think you can build on this. Now Margougou just fishing. He's got 15 seconds until he's Castle Age, and FrekinAndy is going to be very disturbed by that. FrekinAndy's probably like, oh yeah, I'm crushing this guy. Margougou progresses to the age of Chateau. FrekinAndy's archer is under attack. FrekinAndy, he has some archers here. He is microing them against this eagle. Margougou probably just wants to get the... well, actually, he doesn't need to. FrekinAndy looking at the situation. The eagle's getting in on the wood line. And he calls the GG. Hey, Waffle King, welcome. So every once in a while, probably like once every 2 weeks or so, my computer just blue screens. And that's what happened last night. Just completely blue screen. Luckily, Panda Bear was streaming, so folks could still see the rest of the game. It is an old and tired computer. By the time I got it restarted and everything and back up, it was like half an hour later. Okay, so Margougou has won a second game against FrekinAndy, but this is a best of 5, and don't count FrekinAndy out. Margougou needs only one more win, and FrekinAndy needs 3 wins. So FrekinAndy needs to win all 3 remaining games in order to emerge victorious. So, entertaining game. I think that the map needs a little bit of work when it comes to the docks in the center, but that's okay. This is a good map. I like this map. Yeah, and maybe these sort of oases things can and should be a little bit smaller, so that they're easier to more evenly distribute across the map. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is Benteng. So Benteng is a custom map. They're all custom maps, really, the Blue Carbon Cup. Pretty good. I like this map. I remember Marintho having Marintho on the stream, and he was talking about this map that he had in development. You guys, these are sea walls. Sea gates. And sea walls. They are kind of like palisades. They're really not that good. But look at how, the big thing is, look at how close together these players are. Holy crap. This is crying for Man-at-Arms towers. Margougou playing as the blue Japanese, and FrekinAndy playing as the orange Cumans. Cumans are a terrible choice. They are a huge disadvantage in this case. I mean, I get it, right? Build another town center in Feudal Age, but maybe he's thinking he can do it out here on this gold or stone or something and have secure gold and stone. We've seen Cumans in the past, but they're just, especially for this generation, he's Cuman so that he can build a town center somewhere in the Feudal Age. The problem is that his opponent is the perfect Man-at-Arms civ, basically. And his opponent, you can bet that since these are only the strength of palisade walls, you can bet that Margougou is going to do a man-at-arms tower rush. And if you're booming and you've got town centers spending resources building twice as many villagers, and you have to build the town center too, if you've got that much investment in your economy in feudal age, it is very easy to die to a feudal age push like that. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Margougou will he'll do something completely different, or maybe FrekinAndy will defy the odds. Maybe Margougou's tower rush will be completely underwhelming. FrekinAndy knows something about the game that I don't, obviously. There is more forest out here on the mangrove shallows. We've got, of course, player assigned forests inside of this area here, your main square base. Marintho, for those that don't know, is a clown. He is part of Clown Legion, or True Clown Legion, the John Slow community. And he loves making maps that have walls. And I like playing maps that have walls, so it's sort of a fair setup. Margougou coming out here to build a secret dock. Interesting. At least it's secret for now. I'm not sure how long it's going to be secret for. Yeah. FrekinAndy is actually going to do the same thing, it looks like. They're both going to dock. I guess it probably makes sense. And approximately the same location. Yeah, this almost kind of looks like seaweed or a reef or something out here. It's a pretty cool look. Waffle King predicts that Japanese will win in the mid-Castle Age. I think that sounds about right. I think that the game itself will be won in the mid-feudal age, but FrekinAndy will last until the mid-Castle Age. Now you start with this junk FrekinAndy complaining about the state of the game. Yeah, the game state is not the best. This junk is a hero trade unit for this map, and I actually think, I know for Pandora it's the case as well. I don't think every map gets the junk, but most of them do. This junk is a hero trade cog. This junk collects gold at 4 times the normal rate of other trade cogs. So these junks are very, the merchants on these junks are very shrewd. No sound notification for the crocodile. Oh, that is annoying. It wasn't that villager that got attacked by the crocodile. But FrekinAndy, when you're this high level and you lose a villager to a crocodile for no reason in the beginning, it's hard. I'm glad he's not blaming the map. Margougou says, "Don't overestimate me. I can lose every situation." You could delete 5 vills and still win, says FrekinAndy. FrekinAndy is not happy. He did lose the first 2 games. They were good games, I think. They're like Swiss merchants. Well, junks are technically East Asian in architecture, but they need the Swiss merchants to balance out their negotiating skills. Everybody else just gets ripped off. But because the Swiss are not a faction in this game, the junks have no competition. Ah, okay, we got some dolphins hiding in this reef here. But yeah, that is unfortunate. I think there's like a bug in the game where on some custom maps you don't get an attack notification when you're attacked by wild animals, which is it introduces unnecessary randomness into the game. So FrekinAndy is actually feudal age, but he does not see Margougou's scout. That's lucky for Margougou. Margougou coming over here looking for a dock and a villager. And this villager is unloomed. Okay, the town center is coming up over here. If Margougou spots this villager, she's dead. But Margougou is going to find this town center. Yeah, no worries, Waffle King. I'm just going to cast this set from the Blue Carbon Cup, and then the stream will be over. I might stream more tonight. We'll see. It depends. I got to talk to the other streamers in the guild and see what other people want to do. Usually somebody in the guild is streaming. You know, it's really not about any one person. We're a team. And we're united by a charter, and we share a common philosophy. And it doesn't really matter who streams, only that we try to get at least somebody streaming at any given time. I guess what I'm saying is the quality of the content is pretty much going to be the same. There's going to be some advantages and disadvantages. Some people have like cool music that's copyright free playing in the background that other people like, and some people have good insights into the game, and some people have cubes mod that is enjoyable to watch for all you Finnish players out there. So there's different things that people do, but it's all good stuff. Okay, so FrekinAndy just wants to boom. He is going to catch up on villagers. He actually has the lead already. He's got 35 because he's got 2 town centers working. And what have we got here? Spearman. Spearman from Margougou. So no man-at-arms tower rush. What? I guess they'd rather make army on the water. Wait, Margougou coming this way. You can't run away from a human scout. No, you can't. Don't even try. He should just take as much health as he can. Instead of just... Unless he needs the time for something else, like he needs to get a building up over here before FrekinAndy... Wait, what? Oh, he ran to his spearman. That's smart. That is smart. So we have a stable coming up here for FrekinAndy. Okay, he's Margougou is taking the box turtles. There's not a ton of fish out here. There's a very small amount. It's still worth it to make a few fishing ships, but there's not a lot. Siege Workshop and Monastery. All right, so we're going to do a Monk Siege push. Margougou with the Monk Siege push against his opponent, who feudal boomed a little bit, but FrekinAndy got with a clean feudal boom here. He ran away with an 8-villager advantage despite losing one early on, and he's on his way up to the castle age. He needs to survive for the next minute and a half while Margougou sieges his outlying town center. And he's got a stable here. He's getting bloodlines. I don't think that's worthwhile. I think you want to just get as many scouts as you can. But he probably doesn't know. Let's see. No, he doesn't. Okay, yeah, so he doesn't know he's going to be monk pushed. So that's why he's investing in bloodlines. So he just wants this for general strength and utility of cavalry. This mangonel is going to show up. And imagine having that just be like, surprise! Okay, 1 villager goes down. He's got to pull back to his town center. And an attack round kills another villager. This scout is going to pick off the last one. So that's 3 villagers down to the initial opening barrage here. And FrekinAndy knows that he's in trouble. But he also knows that he's close to getting up to the castle age. So we got pikes, we got a monk, we got some mangonels, and this is a good old-fashioned siege monk rush with a few supporting units. So this is very powerful. This is going to be hard for FrekinAndy to deal with. He is getting light cav now because he's afraid of the monks, which is smart. He has to garrison the town center. Now, Japanese pikemen, and spearmen for that matter, attack faster. I think it's like 33% faster than traditional units. So they're going to be hard to stop. I'm wondering if these mangonels get a hill advantage against this town center. I don't think so. And Margougou with almost no wood. He's got 6 on wood, but like no wood. All right, FrekinAndy has wood collection elsewhere, and he's using that to repair his town center. And he basically just needs to mass one big army of... I think he's making too many step lancers here. This is not enough. These are Japanese pikemen. Don't do it, FrekinAndy. Don't do it. Yeah, I think he gets a better idea of what's here and then decides not to dive in. Yeah, you don't want to give your opponent step lancers. But repairing town centers is expensive. You know what he might do is build a transport ship so that he can get away. Transport ship would be faster than these villagers, but he probably isn't teched into the right technologies. All right, interesting. We got fire ships here. He's going to need to dive this. That was unfortunately not well coordinated, but it means that there is no faith for the monks, so maybe that was the point, was to use up the monks' faith on some fire ships, which cannot really threaten the town center. There's a lot of pikemen here he's trying to avoid. He's trying to get around. I don't think I just don't think he's got enough. And he calls the GG, the one big fight. That's it's hard to stop this. You basically need to go infantry and mangonels and monks of your own, but Japanese are the much better civ on this map for sure. So, Margougou is victorious for the third time. He will advance 3-0 from the semifinals. Unfortunate that FrekinAndy lost that villager due to the bug earlier in the game. But there's not much that we can do about that. You can't design tournaments so that somebody could call a restart if they lose a villager to a wolf, because then, you know, players could have imperfect starts and lose villagers to wolves and be like, oh, I didn't hear anything. You know, I didn't get the notification. So there's not really much you can do about that. We appreciate these players doing the Blue Carbon Cup. And that's going to conclude this stream. We will see you guys. We'll see you guys later. Maybe there will be some more content tonight. I think somebody will do something. I don't know if it'll be me, but if it's not me making the content, I'll see you for when the content is made. I'll be there consuming it alongside you. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and hopefully we'll catch you soon.